Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we will unpack the explosive return of Remy Price to Los Angeles, his desperate quest to win back Deke Sharp, and the mind-blowing new backstory connecting him to a major legacy family. Can you believe it? Just when we thought the canvas was getting a little too comfortable with its current lineup of young legacy characters, the writers go and drop a massive bombshell on us. Christian Weissman is officially back on contract as Remy Price, and let me tell you, he is not just passing through Los Angeles this time. He is here to stay, and he is bringing a tidal wave of messy, complicated, and deeply rooted drama with him. If you thought Remy was just going to be a blip on the radar, a temporary troublemaker meant to stir the pot and vanish into the Hollywood Hills, you are dead wrong. The stakes have just been raised to an astronomical level, and I am absolutely here for every single second of it. Let us start with the immediate chaos happening right in front of our eyes. Recently, we saw a highly emotionally charged scene at Il Giardino that honestly had me screaming at my screen. Remy was there, pouring his heart out, expressing just how much he desperately misses Deke Sharp. He made it abundantly clear that he is still completely head over heels in love with him, but here is the kicker. Deke is not just falling right back into his arms. And honestly, can you blame him? Many fans think Deke should just forgive and forget because they look cute together. But I think Deke is completely justified in his hesitation. Remy has made some catastrophic mistakes in the past, and Deke is rightfully terrified of getting his heart shattered all over again. During this intense Il Giardino showdown, Remy practically begged Deke. He looked him dead in the eyes, told him he loved him, and said he longs for the life they were supposed to have together. He literally asked Deke how long it's going to take to get another chance. That is a heavy burden to place on someone you have hurt. But the most fascinating part of this exchange was Deke's confession. Deke admitted to Remy that he had just been talking to his friend Melissa Dillon, and he had told her that love conquers all. When Deke said that you could see the gears turning in Remy's head, Remy immediately took Deke's hand, looking at him with this intense, almost predatory hope, and expressed that he hopes Deke truly believes those words. Now, I think this action was highly manipulative. Remy is using Deke's own romantic idealism and a conversation Deke had with Dillon to guilt him into a reconciliation. It is classic toxic behavior, but it makes for incredibly compelling television. Remy's main goal right now is absolutely to win Deke back. He is laser focused on it. But let us be real for a second. This is the bold and the beautiful. Nobody comes back to town just for love. There's always an ulterior motive, a hidden agenda, or a dark secret lurking in the shadows. And that brings us to the real meat of today's discussion. The 70% of the iceberg that is hidden underwater. In a recent interview, Christian Weissman dropped a clue that has completely set the fandom on fire. Because he is now under contract, the writers have crafted a brand new backstory for Remy, linking him permanently to the core fabric of the B&B universe. Christian explicitly stated that Remy's return is going to get messy, that there are wild adventures ahead, and that his permanent presence is going to create massive issues for other characters on the canvas. But you will not believe the most crucial detail he revealed. Christian noted that Remy is back because of a surprising connection with another character, which he described as very unexpected. However, he followed that up by saying that once the truth is disclosed, it will make perfect sense because Remy and this unknown legacy individual share very similar traits. They are cut from the exact same cloth. That is crazy. Let us unpack that phrase. Cut from the same cloth. Sharing similar traits. What are Remy's defining traits? He is a schemer. He is obsessive. He's willing to cross massive moral and ethical boundaries to get what he wants. Need I remind you of the horrific, deeply damaging deepfake images he created of Electra Forrester? That was not just a simple mistake. That was calculated, malicious psychological warfare. So, if we are looking for a legacy character who shares those traits, we are looking for a legacy villain. We are looking for someone whose blood runs cold when they are crossed. The absolute first person that comes to my mind, and I know many of you are thinking the exact same thing, is the reigning queen of chaos herself, Sheila Carter. Think about the historical connections here. When Remy first arrived in Los Angeles, who was the one person who took an immediate, almost inexplicable liking to him, Sheila, she had this weird soft spot for him right out of the gate. She wanted to assist him. She went out of her way to arrange a job for him as a handyman with Bill Spencer. And she even gave him the incredibly shady advice to use a fake name. At the time, we all just thought Sheila was being her usual manipulative self, maybe grooming a new minion to do her dirty work. But what if it was deeper than that? What if it was maternal instinct? What if blood was recognizing blood? I think it makes absolute perfect sense that Remy could be the grandson of Sheila Carter. Let us dive deep into the history of Sheila's family tree, because it is a wild, tangled mess. We all know about John Finnegan, her golden boy, the doctor who constantly battles his dark genetics, but Sheila has a whole litter of children scattered across the soap opera universe. She has Mary Warwick. She has the twins over in Genoa City, Daisy Carter and Ryder Callahan. But the most fascinating, the most legendary, untied, loose end in the bold and the beautiful history is Diana Carter. For those of you who might be newer viewers, let me take you on a quick history trip back to 2003. Sheila Carter had a baby and she named her Diana. But the explosive part of this story is the paternity. Diana Carter's father is none other than Massimo Morone. Yes, the very same Massimo Morone who is the biological father of Ridge Forrester. If you are following the family connections correctly, this is where the plot twist becomes absolutely nuclear. If Remy Price is the son of Diana Carter, that makes him the grandson of Sheila Carter and Massimo Morone. That would make Diana Ridge Forrester's half-sister, which means Remy Price is Ridge Forrester's nephew. Can you even begin to comprehend the catastrophic fallout? If this is true, I am literally shaking just thinking about the dramatic potential. Right now, on our screens, we are watching a bitter, violent feud between RJ Forrester and Will Spencer. Just this week, Will delivered a devastating psychological blow to RJ during a shoving match in the Forrester Creations showroom. Will looked RJ in the eye and told him he is not even a real Forrester, throwing the Morone lineage right in his face. The timing of this is too perfect to be a coincidence. The writers are actively bringing the Morone name back into the daily dialogue. They are reminding the audience that Ridge, and by extension, RJ, are biologically Morones. To have Remy Price arrive on the canvas right at this exact moment, and to reveal that he is a true blood Morone would be a masterclass in soap opera storytelling. It would mean that RJ Forrester and Remy Price are cousins. Let that sink in. RJ, the entitled golden boy who is currently obsessing over Elektra, would share blood with the very man who humiliated and traumatized Elektra with those deepfake images. I think bringing Remy into the Forrester fold after what he did to Elektra is honestly sick and twisted, but from a drama perspective, it is absolute gold. Elektra is already dealing with the horrific betrayal of her Aunt Ivy manipulating her breakup with Will. Imagine her psychological state when she finds out the man who violated her image is now sitting at the Forrester Thanksgiving table. I think Ridge would have an absolute meltdown. Ridge has spent his entire life trying to distance himself from the ruthless, mob-adjacent legacy of Massimo Morone. He clings to the Forrester name like a life raft. To have Sheila Carter's grandson walk into his office and rightfully claim a piece of the Morone Forrester legacy would be Ridge's ultimate nightmare. And honestly, I would love to see Ridge squirm. He has been entirely too hypocritical lately, especially with how he is handling RJ's aggressive behavior in the office. But wait, we cannot put all our chips on the Sheila and Massimo theory just yet, because there is another legacy character who perfectly fits the description of being cut from the same cloth as Remy. A character who has a long, dark history of obsession, manipulation, and crossing the line. I am talking about Thomas Forrester. Many fans might immediately reject this idea because of the ages. You might be screaming at your screen right now, saying Thomas is too young to be Remy's father. But let us remember the golden rule of daytime television: soap opera rapid aging syndrome, or SORAS. Time is a flat circle in Los Angeles. Thomas and Finn are supposed to be roughly the same age. The writers rapidly aged Finn to be a fully grown doctor with a child, and they rapidly aged Luna. Remy and Luna are in the same age bracket. If the writers want Thomas to have a secret son from his wild teenage years, they will simply rewrite the timeline and demand we accept it. And honestly, we will. Think about the psychological parallels between Thomas Forrester and Remy Price. They are staggering. Thomas was a relentless troublemaker for years. His obsession with Hope Logan drove him to do unthinkable things. He kept the secret of baby Beth being alive. He manipulated his own son Douglas. He literally had a romantic relationship with a plastic mannequin that looked like Hope Thomas was unhinged, deeply insecure, and willing to destroy anyone's life to get the woman he fixated on. Now, look at Remy. Remy became so obsessed, so driven by his dark impulses, that he used advanced technology to create deepfake pornography of Elektra Forrester, just to cause chaos and exert control. That is exactly the kind of dark, twisted, tech-savvy manipulation that a young Thomas Forrester would have pulled if he had the tools back in the day. They share that same brooding, intense, stop-at-nothing energy. If Remy is Thomas's son, the implications are just as massive. It would make Remy the direct grandson of Ridge Forrester and Taylor Hayes. It would make him Steffi's nephew. Can you imagine Steffi's reaction? Steffi is currently running around in a total panic, trying to protect her family from Sheila Carter, completely unaware that a different kind of monster might already be holding the keys to the Forrester kingdom. Steffi would lose her mind trying to control a rogue nephew who has already proven he has zero respect for boundaries or women. And how would this impact the current landscape? Thomas has been trying so hard to redeem himself to be a good man, a good designer. Dropping a dark, twisted secret son into his lap would completely derail his redemption arc. It would force Thomas to look in the mirror and face the darkest parts of his own legacy manifesting in his offspring. I think this theory is incredibly strong because it roots Remy directly into the core Forrester family, ensuring he is involved in every major storyline for the next decade. But let us connect this back to what is currently happening on the canvas, right? This very second. Because there is a massive mystery unfolding that I believe is directly tied to Remy's return. We have to talk about Melissa Dillon. According to the latest developments, Dillon has just made the heartbreaking decision to move out of Will Spencer's beach house. She is sacrificing her own living situation because she feels guilty about keeping Ivy's manipulation a secret. And she values her friendship with Will over a potential romance. But right as she is trying to start fresh, working her new job at Forrester Creations, she receives a terrifying phone call. The caller uses a voice scrambler. A disguised robotic voice tells Dillon, "It's me. We have some unfinished business." Dillon is left completely on edge, looking over her shoulder, terrified of her own past catching up with her. I am calling it right now, and you heard it here first. The person on the other end of that phone is Remy Price. Think about the logistics. Remy is a tech-savvy guy. We know he knows how to use software to manipulate reality. He did it with the Elektra deepfakes. Using a voice scrambler to terrorize someone over the phone is absolute child's play for him. It fits his modus operandi perfectly. But why would Remy be calling Dillon? What is their connection? This is where the web gets incredibly tangled and brilliant. Theory A, Remy is using Dillon to get to Deke. Remember that Il Giardino conversation? Deke specifically mentioned Dillon to Remy. He quoted Dillon saying, "Love conquers all." Remy now knows that Dillon is a close confidant of Deke's. If Remy wants to manipulate Deke into taking him back, what better way than to infiltrate Deke's support system? Remy might be harassing Dillon, trying to force her to put in a good word for him. Or maybe he is trying to blackmail her into helping him orchestrate a romantic reunion with Deke. Remy is ruthless enough to use an innocent girl as a pawn in his twisted love game. Theory B, and this is the one that really gives me chills, Remy and Dillon are related. What if they are half-siblings? What if they share a dark family history that Dillon has been desperately trying to run away from? Dillon has always been a bit of a mystery. She is sweet, she's an art teacher, she seems innocent. But in soap operas, the innocent ones always have the darkest closets. If Remy and Dillon are siblings, and Remy is revealed to be a Marone or a Forrester, that means Dillon is also tied to those legacy families. It would explain why the writers have been slowly integrating Dillon into the core group, having her live with Will, work at Forrester Creations, and interact with Elektra. They are setting the stage for a massive family explosion. I think the genius of this potential storyline is how it ties the entire younger generation together. You have RJ and Will literally fighting physically over the Forrester and Marone names. You have Elektra shattered by her Aunt Ivy's betrayal, completely disillusioned with the Forrester family loyalty. You have Dillon caught in the crossfire, harboring secrets and running from her past. And now, you drop Remy Price into the dead center of this powder keg, armed with a legacy bloodline and a history of destroying lives. Let us take a moment to analyze the psychological state of the canvas right now, because it perfectly primes the audience for Remy's reign of terror. Sheila Carter is currently playing the long game. She just found out that Deacon and Taylor are genuinely in love. She cornered Taylor with a pizza cutter, had a massive emotional outburst, but ultimately walked away without drawing blood. Sheila is keeping her promise to Deacon not to physically hurt anyone. She is lurking in the shadows, opting for psychological warfare instead of physical violence. Because Sheila is showing uncharacteristic restraint, there is a massive vacuum for a true, unhinged villain on the show right now. The canvas needs someone who is willing to get their hands dirty, someone who does not care about redemption. Remy Price is the answer to that vacuum. If he is Sheila's grandson, he can pick up the mantle of chaos while Sheila plays the role of the misunderstood, restrained ex-wife. Sheila could even mentor him from the shadows, teaching him how to destroy the Forresters from the inside out without getting caught. Imagine the scenes between a restrained, calculating Sheila and a young, reckless, vengeful Remy. It would be Emmy-worthy television. On the other hand, if Remy is Thomas's son, it creates a fascinating dynamic of generational trauma. Ridge manipulated and controlled Thomas. Thomas manipulated and controlled Hope. Now Remy arrives to manipulate and control Elektra, Deke, and Dillon. It is a vicious cycle of toxic masculinity and unchecked privilege that the Forrester family has never truly reckoned with. I think it would be incredibly brave of the writers to use Remy to hold a mirror up to the Forrester men and show them the monster they have created through their own actions. And we cannot forget about Deke in all of this. Poor Deke is just trying to live his life, unsure of whether to trust the man he loves. If Remy is revealed to be a powerful legacy character, a Marone or a Forrester, how does that change Deke's perspective? Does power and money make Remy more attractive? Or does the legacy of madness make him even more terrifying? Deke is going to be caught in a massive tug-of-war between his heart and his survival instincts. I personally hope Deke runs for the hills, but knowing this show, he will be drawn right back into Remy's toxic orbit just as the family's secrets explode. In conclusion, well, I said I wouldn't use formal transitions, so let's just say the bottom line is this. The Bold and the Beautiful is setting up a storyline that is going to fundamentally alter the DNA of the show. Christian Weissman is a phenomenal actor who plays the charming psychopath perfectly. Whether Remy Price turns out to be the grandson of the infamous Sheila Carter and Massimo Marone, or the secret dark offspring of Thomas Forrester, the fallout is going to be biblical. The battle lines are being drawn. Will Spencer is reclaiming his Spencer pride while weaponizing the Marone name against RJ. Elektra is on the warpath, demanding Ivy be fired for her sociopathic manipulation. Dylan is terrified of the voice on the other end of the phone. And Remy Price is standing at the gates of Los Angeles, ready to claim his birthright and win back his man by any means necessary. I want to know exactly what you guys think. Drop your theories in the comments below. Do you think Remy is Sheila's grandson through Diana Carter? Do you think he is Thomas's secret son? And who do you think is on the other end of that phone call with Melissa Dillon? Is it Remy? Or is there another ghost from the past waiting to strike? Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, because this storyline is moving fast. And I will be right here breaking down every single twist and turn. Until next time, stay bold and stay beautiful.